is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here. Big boy slate, not messing around. No time for pleasantries. One lonely game late at night. I'm not going to go on my soapbox, but good Lord, why is this game on the slate? We have one game after 8:30. That would be the Celtics and the Kings. It is important, though, because we are without on a back-to-back here. The back half of a back-to-back for Boston. They went to overtime last night. No Jason Tatum. No Al Horford. Plenty of other players we're keeping our eye on as far as that may or may not play tonight. They could certainly shift the slate, but it's kind of looking for some value. Not a lot of value for such a big slate, but maybe some will appear. Several players are ill. Donovan Mitchell, he's got revenge in his mind, but he is also feeling a bit queasy. He's questionable. Paul George also questionable. The Lakers have their questionable tags, so that's probably nonsense because they always play through it. We're going to talk about it with Chop, Head Chopper. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Wednesday. Big boy slates. How are things in Chop's world?
All right, Dean. We're getting by. Just counting down the days to Christmas and seeing if we can survive, Dean. You know how it is. It's flu season, Dean. It's a minefield out there, man. You got to watch out, dude.
Yeah. Have you not left the house? Is that what's going on there? Or I guess the kids are probably bringing it in anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is I can do everything I can do to keep myself clean, but you know, they brought it in from school, so you just got to deal with it and hope everything's good for Christmas Day, Dean. That's what matters.
Christmas Day is a Monday, and there's NFL on Christmas, which you don't normally get. I think there's 3 games on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. There's 5 basketball games as well. A little bit of the NFL infringing on the NBA's turf for many years, but that'll be fun. I don't know how. What's the plan, Chop? Are we gonna find a way to sneak away and watch some football? You get your Cowboys versus Miami on Sunday, I believe. So at least you can watch your Cowboys on Christmas Eve, I guess.
Oh man. Thank goodness we get something to watch while we're at the the different houses doing the whole Christmas thing. So it'll be good. But we're gonna get an answer to a big question here, Dean. What's more popular, the NBA on Christmas Day or throw in some football? We're gonna get a good answer.
We know the answer.
Yeah, we know the answer. Always the NFL.
Terrible NFL games draw so much better than really, really good NBA games. Just how it goes. Just the NFL is the king. Kirkwood.
Is there only one game? Is it on Christmas?
Three NFL games on Monday. Yeah, it's like a triple.
What is it? The nightcapper is the nightcapper is what? Pat's Broncos?
No.
Christmas Day? Or no, it's
Sunday night is Pat's Broncos. That one you can ignore. You can hang with your family.
Monday is 49.
Ultimate
we got
Brand, which is an awesome game. I think that's in the afternoon, or like maybe 1 o'clock or so. Giants, Eagles, and Vegas, Kansas City. So yeah, you got 3 games on Monday. Just a 9-game slate. A 9-game slate on Sunday. Because all these games are scattered throughout the week. Kirkwood, is it fair to assume that you played John Morant for $10 yesterday on Yahoo?
I didn't play. I didn't play because I had no time. I had to go grocery shopping. My car's broken down, so there's like only a window. I got a baby. My whole world is awful right now. Screaming baby. Girl's going through a bunch at her work. They sold the company, and there's like new. So she has all this training to do. And I'm stuck with a kid without a car, and I got to do the grocery shop and all this. So, anyways, no, I didn't. I did see him at $10, but I didn't play.
Instacart's your friend. Tonight. If you're in a pinch, you can't leave. Instacart's your friend. You got to pay a little extra, but convenience.
And that reminds me of the Christmas stories here. I had one Christmas memory growing up where our entire family was just sick, and everybody was puking. And it was just like literally my dad slid in my sister's puke. It was like this crazy. It was like just craziness. So one time in my life, but those are always fond memories, I guess.
That's a fond memory for sure.
I mean, it adds character. It adds. I mean, there's nothing better than Christmas as a kid. Like nothing.
All right. Tonight's big boy slate. We kind of touched on it. Tatum being out. We don't know what the Lakers. We kind of know what the Lakers, right? You got to assume LeBron and Davis are going to play. We don't know about Miles Turner. He's currently questionable. Jericho Sims unlikely to play here for New York, so we're expecting Hartenstein to jump in the starting lineup. Bogdan Bogdanovic has got an ankle, so he's questionable. Maybe some other stuff falls as the show progresses. But Chop, we're going to need a screenshot, man. What are we looking at as far as the slate? There's some great great big spends, right? Luka hates the Clippers. He really does not like the Clippers. I remember that bubble tournament or the playoffs in the bubble. He just loved kicking them out of the playoffs. Joker's on this slate, and Embiid, when he gets 4 quarters, he just goes absolutely ballistic. The matchup's not spectacular, but it's Embiid, and who cares? He can crush any matchup. What are we seeing here? What's the kind of the screenshots? Something you want to focus on before we go game by game, Chop? What's your quick summary as far as this slate? If you can kind of zoom out for a second.
Well, Luka didn't kick the Clippers out of the bubble. All right, the Clippers kicked Luka out of. Clippers kicked Luka out of the bubble.
Did I make that up?
I believe it was the Clippers who won, and then got beat by the Nuggets.
Well, Dean, this is like 2 weeks going on where you've been losing your mind.
Is it a chop fact or is this a real fact?
And then the Nuggets went on and came back from 3-1 over the Clippers.
I got the Google, and I'm going to Bing it just in case too.
Oh, Google's going to lie to you. Come on, Dean.
Maybe you gave them a heads up. I don't know. You know a guy, but
I know
continue.
Screenshot. Like right now, I don't even know. The whole Boston Celtics stuff came down here relatively before the show. If you're trying to prepare for it and you don't quite see it, so I don't know. I got a feeling there's going to be more news than that, even though they are the only team on a back-to-back. But it's the late game. It opens up a little value. We'll see how it plays. Right now, yeah, Luka. We'll see how it plays out, Dean. I'm not even sure that I want to invest like too much into Luka. I think there's a lot of really good players out there. So maybe it's a day where we can actually see. Some days you want to spread out your value plays and load up on that one star who's in the perfect spot, like an Embiid against a weak sister. He loves us, that kind of stuff. And there's some days where the value, there's one great value guy or two great, and that's what you want to load up on, and you want to spread out your stars. I got a feeling I want to be spreading out my stars today. But, the big screenshot is there's going to be plenty of value tonight. You can do what you want with your roster.
You're more optimistic than I am. Just as also the way just like DK is just been, even FanDuel, just been pricing players up. Everybody's like 10% more expensive than they were in years past. Value is like almost non-existent. And it's just looking at the current players that are hitting optimals right now. It is terrible. Georgie Yang, Derek Jones Jr., Bruce Brown. These are the guys that are like pretty popular.
Well, have you run that since?
Yeah.
So you're not. I mean, okay. I guess I'm more optimistic on a guy like
Lamar
Sam
Stevens.
Sam
you trust
Hauser.
Lamar Stevens?
No, I trust Sam Hauser though.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a GPP winner, man. If he gets hot, he can shoot.
If he doesn't, though, he better score. If he's not scoring, he
can shoot though. Missoula loves him, so I like me some Sam. The Whiteys can shoot, Dean. I don't know if you know this, but the Whiteys can shoot, brother.
Take a Rashad Mendenhall. I'm sure he can give his take on it on Twitter. I'm sure people want to hear what that is. By the way, it must be the Mandela effect or something like that. The Clippers did beat the Mavs 4-2 in 2020. So I don't know why I imagined that Luka kicked out the Clippers, but was it a different season? Or maybe I just made the whole thing up.
Following that season, after that season, he did eliminate him.
Okay, so it did happen. It just happened different. I was just mixing up my years. Kirkwood, what do you got as far as the slate? Is Kirkwood on mute? He may be. Yes. Kirkwood, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
And I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound perfect. What do you got for us as far as your focus on the slate, something you're waiting for maybe?
It's Donovan Mitchell. What that lineup is going to be ridiculous if he doesn't play against Utah, which is like the best spot.
Karis LeVert.
Yeah, it's going to have to be either or maybe Porter. I don't know who. I mean, they might lose by Jazz may absolutely demolish them, but I mean that's what I'm waiting on really. I kind of expected Tatum to be out. Other than that, like the LeBron, Anthony Davis news is always fake news. Paul George is interesting. for news to come. But yeah, for me, it's all we're just waiting and see with this Donovan Mitchell because he missed shoot around, but he's sick. So like you would think by missing shoot around he'd have a high percentage, but when guys are sick, they always miss shoot around. So he's still maybe on track to play.
And he wants to get that revenge, a lot of revenge in that game. The Sexland, Colin Sexton on the other side.
Yes.
And then marketing another revenge player, just a revenge game for sure. But we'll see. We'll get to that. There are 4 games at 7:00, and that is one of them. So if we don't have that news, Crunch Time will have that news. You got TJ. TJ is working double duty. He's producing today. We got producer TJ, and he's going to be jumping on the show in about an hour for Crunch Time. He'll be joined by Will. I believe Will Chief's going to be coming on, as well as, of course, Kevin Roth holding it down. Let's dive in. First game. It's a fun one. It's a doozy. 247.5 is a total. It's a big boy total. The Pacers are pretty big favorites here versus the Hornets. They're 9-point favorites against Charlotte. Charlotte, obviously, pretty wounded these days. The absence of LaMelo Ball. It's been like that for a while. Mark Williams, I guess, not officially ruled out, but he's doubtful, so we're assuming he's not going to play. And Gordon Hayward, he is ill, officially probable, so we're expecting him back. Stay tuned on that. For Indiana, Miles Turner, he missed last game with hamstrings. Jalen Smith is officially questionable. Nembhard is not playing basketball this evening. But this is a weird one, Kirkwood, because it feels like an incredible environment. And, we love Halliburton as a big fan. We love Rozier in the absence of LaMelo, but they're both kind of sort of priced up, and they're not really hitting stuff. Certainly interesting for tournaments. But I thought this game would be more popular than I'm seeing, at least as of right now. How do you feel about Charlotte in Indiana?
Well, Miles Turner's big news. If that happens, we're going to get Isaiah Jackson again, which he should be fine. The only thing that maybe he doesn't have quite the same minutes upside with if Jalen Smith is back, but Jackson will probably end up being like must-play material if we get that news right. Terry Rozier has like one of the absolute best roles in the NBA right now. So you got to pay for him, but I think he's worth it in this matchup. I mean, look at this massive total. I was just saying to Steve in chat how I smashed a 254-point total over, and it was like the easiest win ever. It was like what a time to be alive.
We've seen some monster totals this season. Indiana always seems to be involved in these monster totals. He was also talking about how tight the pricing is these days. That's what I was kind of mentioning before, where I don't want to I don't want to just be a pick'em game where you just give me the 7 or 8 best players. That's silly too. But I feel like it's gone too far as far as some of these prices. Most popular player here, Chop, in Charlotte, Indiana, is Bruce Brown, 29%, getting it. And he's like, he's just kind of a glue guy, 3-and-D guy, but good environment, going to play 30 minutes or so. 29% for Bruce Brown. Brandon Miller is 6'5" on DK. I know his FanDuel price is much better. I think he's 5'8" on FanDuel, which that's much more palatable. But whereas you're getting 4%, Halliburton getting 2%. And certainly both these guys can put up 60. They kind of have to if you're paying their salaries off. But yeah, your read here, Chop, as far as Charlotte, Indiana. Again, it's just that the salaries are just kind of putting us away from it because the environment's certainly good.
I mean, anytime Indiana's out there, Dean, you can, get some, you can load up on them. Although I will say the other day, I absolutely stacked the heck out of Indiana and Washington. And man, what a dud. What an absolute dud that was that night.
You got to play Tyus Jones. You screwed up.
Goodness gracious, man. But, anytime they're always good. I think as far as like somewhat moderate cash or something like that, single entry, Brandon Miller's probably the only one that really stands out in that format, like even remotely not GPP, like large field. Everything else is just large field for me because it just relies on a lot. And everybody's priced up enough here on DraftKings. So, and even on FanDuel. But yeah, I think I'm waiting on Gordon Hayward. I don't mind Gordon Hayward at that price on both those sites. All 3 of them, actually, if you want to kick in Yahoo. He's not bad on Yahoo either. I dabble. I'm going to dabble in Yahoo tonight, Dean, just for that shit. We call it, I don't know if I could say the S word on air, Dean, but shits and giggles. We're just dabbling, playing around.
Sure, I understand. I've heard the term before.
I don't want to get us banned or anything, but everybody else, like Bruce Brown, okay, I embrace people playing 30% Bruce Brown in the tournament. I mean, go for it, man. I don't think I'm gonna be on that train. So
he's
but
on the
Brandon,
hot seat. He's on the hot seat right now too. Coach came out and said some like all these guys didn't try. Naismith may get the start tonight, and Bruce Brown's been losing minutes. So chalky Bruce
They
Brown,
paid him.
I agree.
He got paid in the offseason, so they're kind of like committed to him for a while. And well, you mentioned this one, Kirkwood. I didn't mean to step on you, but Isaiah Jackson, you kind of mentioned. Oh yeah, if Turner doesn't play Isaiah Jackson season, well, again, he's 5'7" now. He's 5'7" on DK, 5'8" on Vandal. This is this preemptive strike by these sites. It's not even like he's a value play; he's a mid-tier play, and like we have an if-then, right? If we happen to get Turner out, we're projecting 24 minutes, 29 DK points, which is a good projection, 31 Vandal points, which is a good projection, but it's not like Smash City, It's just that there's no value plays. They're just gone. Halliburton would be a positive DK value if we lose Turner. But yeah, there isn't any, even if Turner is out, because of the way the prices have been bumped up preemptively, if the situation plays out.
If we get some guys out and we get Jalen Smith back, that's a pretty good value. He's still cheap.
He's in and projected for 18 minutes right now. This is if Turner doesn't play. Yeah, if Turner does play, we have Jalen Smith projected for 14 minutes. But there is some volatility, like Kirk was kind of referring to. It's tricky to predict what Indiana's going to do because their rotations are less predictable than many other teams. So if you want to take some swings, by all means, go for it. But I thought I'd be more excited about this game, and I'm just not, which is kind of a bummer. But we shall.
Yeah, man, if LaMelo was still here, this game would go bonkers.
Well, then, I guess how much would he be? 11K, 12K? Yeah, Rozier obviously wouldn't be as appealing either. Rozier's basically LaMelo, sort of.
I like Rozier tonight. I think 8,900 people aren't going to want to pay, and I think that he honestly could put it, like, if this game goes, if they stay in it, it's on him, and he can score. He could put up 50, 60 fantasy points against this matchup.
He better put up 50. If he doesn't put up 50, you'd rather not have him, just where he's priced now. But yeah, I like him too. It's just that I wish he was like a tick cheaper. Let's move on and talk about my Heat. My Heat are in Orlando. 219.5 is the total here for Miami. And this is another weird one where Jimmy Butler's out. Oh, there should be a bunch of value. Not really. You tell me. What are you excited about as far as Miami? Jingle and Joe. No Joe Ingles this season. No Markelle Fultz for Orlando. Miami fully healthy with the exception of Jimmy Butler and Kevin Love. I'll start with you, Chop. Again, we're supposed to, if Butler's out, there's got to be a bunch of value. Bam's 9.5? 9.5? Like, really? Tyler Hero's 8.8? Like, what are we talking about? Against the Magic, one of the best defensive teams in the league. I don't have anybody to get excited about. You tell me, Chop. Miami and Orlando. Anything excite you here?
Nothing's exciting, Dean. Nothing's exciting at all. This is DFS-wise, it just feels like maybe the worst game on the slate. It feels really ugly. And so, I mean, I don't in real life, I like me some Jaime Jaquez. He's cool and all, but
sure.
In DFS at these prices, I'm probably not playing anybody from this game. I don't know. Certainly not Hero at those price tags. Yeah, I think Bam is solid, but again, 95 and 91, that's a lot of money. Yeah, I think I'm passing on this game.
Did you watch Jaquez in college? I know you're a college basketball guy.
Yeah.
UCLA?
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you think he was going to be good?
Not like this. No, I just thought he'd be like end of the bench or maybe end of the rotation kind of guy. But no, I didn't expect him to be able to do to that college game to translate into the pros like this. But if he goes to any other team, yeah, it's not happening. But Miami, man, they just pull it out of you.
Woo! Dean, the people want a Ric Flair woo from you, so I had to get you going here.
I just saw a comment in chat. What's up, chat? Did I officially say hello to chat? I'm not sure if I did. Hi, what's up? Hey, hit that like button. Subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Join the conversation. Do the thing. Let's see. Michael says I sound like a broken man. I need more energy. I think my energy is fine, but I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to be like the crybaby. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I think I'm complaining like 3 times already in the show, and I don't want to be that guy. But this is the new reality. This is just what it is. I don't know why that they think this is the best version of the game, but that's what it is. We're all dealing with the same puzzle pieces.
No, their prize pools are shrinking. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have a little chat with Aguilar tonight.
I think they only care about sports betting now. That whatever pick 6 is, I don't know what that is because I don't. It's not available in my state.
They want to take out Underdog, who was Underdog and Prize Picks. They want to. You know what's crazy? No, I can't say it on there. Never mind. Sorry, I'm gonna get in trouble. Never mind.
I will use.
I forgot who's invested in some of these companies, and I decided to walk it back.
Wendell Carter is expected to start tonight for Orlando. Robert Covington is out. He's not feeling particularly well. That doesn't matter a ton, but I guess it's noteworthy. Like, it's gonna. Well, we'll talk about it, but like Kelly Oubre is gonna look pretty good, which is like that's somebody we're gonna be thrilled about. The 4th option on Philadelphia, 5th option actually, right? 4th or 5th. The report is Craig Porter Jr. will start if Mitchell is out. Yeah. Now here's where I see Craig Porter's like 7K. I don't know how much he is. I did not look in advance to see how much Craig Porter is. You can't be that much, right? 4.4 on DK, 4.6 on FanDuel. Okay. Yeah. And like he can get loose. So he would be pretty interesting. That probably means that LeVert would come off the bench still, but still probably play 30 minutes. I'm guessing that, he does that. They like him with the second unit, but basically once he's in, he's in. But okay, we'll get to that Cleveland game momentarily. You got anything here to say as far as Miami and Orlando? Basketball will be played. Kirkwood, am I missing anybody? Miami, Orlando? Is there somebody you're interested in? Wendell Carter is actually too cheap, right? At 5'4".
Yeah, is he though? It depends. It's possible. He's a decent GPP play. He could be too cheap. He could also get limited minutes. His projection's not so hot. Like you were saying that Isaiah Jackson, he was projected if he was out for 29 fantasy points, did you say, or something like that?
Yeah, which isn't terrible. It's fine.
And Wendell's consensus is about 25 fantasy points for a median projection for him. So already a worse play than
he's been out for 3 weeks though. So I guess that's the question is what we're expecting minutes wise. And they're giving him 27, which is it feels like there's a little bit of a hedge there, right? That he would play a couple minutes more than that if he was perfectly healthy. Yeah, but it's possible he plays 30. I think. Bam's not a great matchup to draw, but 5.4 is a pretty good price on him. I think he's in the pool. Like he's probably the best play in this game if you're going to pick somebody. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, well, or Banchero. There's risk there at that salary for sure, but
yeah, I'm not getting to AK Banchero against Miami in the slate, but I hear you. He's playable, I guess. Like Jonathan Isaac, 16 minutes. Jonathan Isaac projected for 9% ownership. Like, get out of town with that. There's no chance I'm playing Jonathan Isaac. All right. Anything else we should mention here, Kirkwood? I don't want to just kind of breeze past it. But it's a big
Miles Turner in. This is terrible.
Oh boy, there goes your Yahoo team. You got to start all over again, I suppose. And also Jalen Smith is available too, so a little bit more cluttered there. Just one extra piece, and Indiana's got a lot of bodies. Yeah. You were talking about the shuffle. Obi Toppin might get shuffled out of that lineup too. We'll see.
Yeah, it's Obi Toppin. Like there's and he's played poorly too. He's on the hot. When I say hot seat, it's like for playing time right now. I'm not talking about shipping out or anything. Yeah, those are like the two that people have speculated about.
Minnesota's at Philly, 225 is the total. Philadelphia is a 4-point favorite here. Not a huge number as far as who's in and who's out. Minnesota is fully healthy. Philadelphia, they're without Covington. Marcus Morris is officially questionable, unless I missed an update. And Batum is out. So no Covington, no Batum. Wonder if we had a projection on Covington. I think we do, right? We got to see how many minutes are they giving to him. Yeah, we got Morris questionable getting 18 minutes. And they were giving, or I guess the Covington one's already taken care of, isn't it? So I was seeing Oubre hit some stuff earlier. Was that more so on FanDuel? Yeah, 5'9" on DK, about a 26-point projection. And I think on FanDuel, he's even cheaper. He's like 5'5", 5'2". That's where he was popular. Okay, I knew I saw that. 5'2" for Oubre on FanDuel, 37% ownership. The ownership will get updated for what it's worth, so I probably shouldn't even quote that because that might be stale, but he certainly looks like a pretty good value play. But, I'll be excited about the fifth option for the 76ers, fourth or fifth, depending on him and Melton. I guess Harris is not a big usage guy anymore these days, but yeah, Chop, I'll throw it to you. Well, studs. Is Embiid the best stud in this slate? If you have all the money in the world, is he better than Joker? Is he better than Luka Doncic?
I mean, I don't think he's better necessarily. He's fine. This is not he really preys on those weak teams, Dean. This isn't necessarily a weak team, but it's then again, it's just Rudy Gobert. I don't know, Dean. He's okay. Like I can't really tell the difference tonight between Luka or Embiid or some of these other guys. Let me see here. Who's the big guys?
I think Luka is the best.
Jokic is fine. Embiid, and then you got the Lakers guys, which I don't really. But then you can save a few dollars and go with a Trae Young or even a Tyrese Halliburton, something like that. So I don't really. Is Embiid good? Sure, he's fantastic. Is he jumping off to me as the guy I need to spend tonight? No. That's why I said earlier I can diversify these star guys. Just give me a couple of cheap ones to go all in on, and that's what we're waiting on. So, does he jump out now?
His box score is crazy. I just pulled it up.
He won't stop. Yeah, and a lot of those games he didn't play in the fourth quarter because he smashed too hard the first three. But he also picked on some terrible teams.
Yeah, that's what that's his MO, Dean. But by the time we get to the playoffs, he'll be limping around. He'll be limping around and moping and head down and all this other stuff. Can't finish off the series. Guy,
apparently.
I mean, I think he's fine. I think he's one of the more talented players that's come along the NBA in the last 10 or 15 years. But
sure,
it's all about the playoffs, Dean. It's all about winning chips, man. And I don't know if he's got it in him, so we'll see. But
he got his MVP though. That matters.
That's the thing. Exactly. Bingo. I think you nailed it, Dean. Pressure's off. I don't have to do anything. I'd rather have the MVP than the chip. He's that kind of guy. But that's okay.
You want to know what I heard? I heard a rumor. I heard he's back on the Shirley Temples.
Oh no! Oh no!
That was his thing, right? He's big Shirley Temple guy.
Yeah, pictures of Shirley Temples.
Yeah.
Does TJ like a nice Shirley Temple? TJ,
what's the implication? What's wrong with the Shirley Temple?
I just want to know. Canadian life.
I like a nice Shirley Temple every now and then. Yeah. My wife's pregnant right now, so she likes a nice Shirley Temple.
It's beautiful. A little grenadine. I like it too. A little extra grenadine if you want to get crazy.
Extra cherries if you're feeling frisky.
Yeah, the cherries are that too. It's a great drink.
Not surprisingly, Mark Williams officially ruled out. That's the way we had it projected. Gordon Hayward is officially in. That's what we had it projected. So nothing really to change. Nothing new there. Yeah. So what I was just going to say as far as the big spends, I just think centers is a stronger position and the mid-tier is stronger. So maybe like if you have one big spend, maybe make a guy like Luka as opposed to a guy, again, not going to sit here and say you shouldn't play Embiid, you shouldn't play, Joker. Of course, that's not what I'm saying, but just kind of lineup construction wise, I think it lines up a little bit better to not spend all that money on a center. But of course, Embiid can put up 90, and who cares? Lineup construction, you just figure it out. Kirkwood, how do you feel about Minnesota and Philadelphia ownership wise? And this is a new batch of ownership. This came in about 15 minutes ago. So hit the old refresh if you have the lineup HQ up in front of you. I was doing it for FanDuel. Now I'm just in the middle of a bit of a reload. So my apologies. I'm filling time here. But yeah, we got Minnesota and Philadelphia. 8% is the biggest number here, Kirkwood, on DK for DeAnthony Melton. Embiid coming in at 2%. I mean, I'm not running 150 lineups. If I was, I would make sure to get like 5, right? Like get 4 or 5. You can get over the field, not very hard. But for the most part, it's pretty uneventful this game. No priorities. How do you see it, Kirkwood?
I got one play. and he is a low-owned play, but I think there's upside at 7,300 for Gobert in this spot if he stays out of foul trouble. The Philly gives up a ton of blocks, and this could be a block party tonight. And and if Chop's right, Embiid could get frustrated in this game with Gobert. He's used to picking on weak competition. So he's the one play at 3%. What do we have somewhere around there?
Yeah, like 2% or so. Like he's just not going to get played unless like some severe value opens up, and that's not going to budge much beyond that. Just pulled up opponent blocks. Let's see. You're saying Philly is like 6th as far as getting blocks per game. So I know you're referencing that. One of the biggest on the slate amongst the teams that are playing. Indiana a little bit more, Utah a little bit more as far as blocks. And I see TJ hanging out in chat. No official news there, but yeah, if Easton is out, Şengün could get unleashed. We've seen Easton be very, very good and too good where he's almost keeping Şengün on the bench for an extra few minutes. But and now tonight they face Atlanta. If we get Easton out, who's currently questionable, and we get like 36 minutes out of Şengün, that could be a lot of fun as far as centers. And he's significantly cheaper. He's not cheap, but he's certainly cheaper than the likes of the Joker, the likes of Embiid. Last amongst the 4 7:00 games is the Jazz and the Cavs. It's kind of an incomplete conversation, but I guess we can sort of do an if then. 227 is the total. Cavs are 5-point favorites currently. We mentioned before this is the revenge game. We have revenge for Donovan Mitchell for Colin Sexton. We have revenge for Lauri Markkanen. As far as who's up and who's going to be playing or not, we don't know. We know George is out for Utah. That's Keontae George, Jordan Clarkson, Yurtseven also unavailable. Mitchell not feeling well. Kirkwood mentioned before he was not at shoot around, but that's standard. You don't show up sick at shoot around. Mobley is out for the foreseeable future. Garland's out for the foreseeable future. So Cleveland is super thin. They would be really thin if they're without Mitchell. Basically, the 3 best players: Garland, Mobley, and Mitchell. And then theoretically some value would pop up. I'll throw this to Chop, though. It sounds like you're kind of excited about this one. Little bit of if then. I think if Mitchell plays, he's an awesome play. But again, salary. If you have one big spend, is it the spot? Maybe. But I'm not going to besmirch. But yeah, give me the Cavs, Chop, and I guess do the old this route, that route, depending on.
I don't know, Dean. The illness for Mitchell scares me as far as playing him. I was a lot more, I'm a lot more hesitant now to play him than I was early this morning before he got downgraded to questionable. I just never know how that's going to play out. I mean, look at Hurts the other night with his questionable flu. He looked awful. Of course, he's looked awful for a while now.
Tush push worked just fine.
Yeah, Dean, correct. The tush push, the play where he needs his teammates to help him, but otherwise but you just don't know how he's really feeling. So I'm a little bit more hesitant to play him now. But assuming he's in, I still Karis LeVert still pops off. Cheap, like not great projections, but Sam Merrill for cheap could be there. We are playing. Yeah. I don't know, man. But with Mobley out, Jared Allen is a guy I like in GPPs always, just because he has that upside with the blocks, man. If he gets into it with the blocks, like he's money. So he's always been GPP. Colin Sexton's been playing off the charts. Sexton's in there. Horton Tucker's been playing very well fantasy-wise. Get in there. I'm not really on the George Niang thing here. I don't know. Let me check out his ownership here.
Minivan.
It's enough to where I don't want to play. I don't need to play George Niang and let everybody else do it. But if you're feeling like restricted in cash games, I guess. But I think there's better options out there for cash. But yeah, I think there's a lot in this game. And then that's just if Mitchell is in. If Mitchell gets ruled out, is on, Dean. Then we got a whole. We could stack the whole Cleveland side, and you could almost stack the Utah guys are cheap enough with Sexton and Horton Tucker. You can almost do a little game stack here for super cheap, and maybe even get you 2 superstars in there. You never know.
We had an if then. We do have an if then set up for Cleveland if Mitchell happens to sit, but I think this will be revisited because it has Craig Porter to play 17 minutes, and the report was Craig Porter will start if Mitchell doesn't play. So I would imagine our projection team would get back on it and say, well, wait a second, 17 minutes, probably not enough to project him for. He's been a good fantasy point minute player, though. And I think if he draws the start, if Mitchell is out, he's going to pop, and LeVert's going to pop as well. And even Strus is going to look good. You mentioned Merrill. Merrill is certainly playable. This is the one piece that can really open stuff up. And then, I hate locking in like 3 guys at 7 o'clock, but, there's going to be a lot of value. LeVert, Strus will look good. You certainly can play Jared Allen as well. He's already kind of priced up, but he's certainly fine. And Merrill as well as Porter would be the interesting cheapies.
Dean,
what's your read here? What do you got?
Before you go to, I'll counter you on that, not wanting to lock 3 guys in at 6 o'clock. I'll counterpoint for you, Dean.
Yeah.
You lock them in, you use those spots, and then you don't have to worry about this crap for the rest of the night. You don't have to keep checking the updates and all that other stuff. You
can watch your movies, whatever you want to do. You can just go to bed. You can
lots of good Christmas movies out there, Dean, that are new.
Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah.
No. New ones, and that's
there's no good new Christmas movies. Like
I just watched one. I just watched the Eddie Murphy one on Friday night.
Is that good?
It was good, Dean. It was solid. It's just a new
What's the Eddie Murphy one?
Just a new take on a Christmas movie. Yeah,
it's on
Prime.
what?
Prime. Amazon Prime.
It's just a new take on a Christmas movie.
Supposed to watch Reacher. Everyone's talking about Reacher.
Well, no, that's a different movie. Reacher is those are 2 distinctly different things. But yeah, Jack Reacher, was the movie with Tom Cruise, and now they made a series out of it. I believe they're in the 2nd season on Amazon. I've not started to watch it, but I have seen some hype around it. But I don't know if it's my kind of show. It's a long list. There's a lot of shows out there, but what Christmas movies is the chat watching? I'm trying to see. Just sort of. Oh yeah, TJ said he watched Violent Night for the first time. I watched that too for the first time.
It's on my list. That's on my list. I'd like to see.
It's pretty fun. Yeah, okay. I was good with it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know if the kids are watching or not, but Santa. Chop. Do the kids know about Santa maybe not being a.
I think they're old enough now. They get the idea that this guy is not doing all this stuff in one night.
Super efficient.
Yeah, we still have to put on this ruse of sneaking all the gifts under the tree at 2 a.m. when I'd rather be sleeping. But it is what it is.
Well, you could be Noto. Noto every single day he's writing about the elf on the shelf. He's still working that. He's still working that gimmick. I don't know when that officially gets retired. I didn't have that as a kid. I don't know. Maybe I missed out. But these are things to look forward to, Kirkwood. You can do the elf on the shelf.
I have no idea anything about the elf on the shelf.
No idea. It just moves every single day. The elf moves is the thing. The kids get to find him. I think is the gimmick. No clue. What's your favorite Christmas movie, Kirkwood? You got one? Are you going to go with the chalk, like Die Hard?
Home Alone.
It's a chalk,
Die Hard. Come on. Yeah, Home Alone, number one. I also like You're Gonna Shoot Your Eye Out, Kid. I also like Christmas Vacation.
Sure, that's the chalk.
Yeah. And then I like Bad Santa.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
I like.
You're running down the Family Feud board basically.
I like Elf. I like Elf.
That's like Show Me Elf. That's a ding too. That's not a buzz. That's not a big old X. But people like Elf for sure. Family Man being thrown out in chat. That's the Nick Cage movie. Is that a Christmas movie? I guess it is. I haven't seen it in many years. All right. We got Tim in chat. Tasteful Tides says he's never seen any of these. How could you have never seen any of these? But Chop is sitting there quiet because Chop, I'm pretty sure you've never seen Die Hard. Is that correct? Can you confirm?
I've never seen Die Hard, but I'll watch it one day. I will watch it
tonight. What are you doing tonight?
I'm trying to finish up White Collar, Dean, on Hulu. I'm trying to finish up White Collar and stuff like
9 seasons, isn't it? Like, who's got time for that?
Yeah, no, it's 5 and then a short 6, and we're on season 5 now, so we gotta knock this out. But those movies are, Christmas Vacation definitely on my short list of 3 or 4. So is A Bad Santa and Fred Claus. I was gonna say it before, Darren. I like Fred Claus because I'm a huge Vince Vaughn comedy guy. Like he was good in Swingers, he's good in drama, but he's great in comedy, man. He's just got that impeccable timing. Fred Claus is right up there, man.
You know they're making another dodgeball, right? They're making a sequel like 10 years later or 20 years later. Are you excited about it?
Oh man, some of these things, Dean, 20 years later just aren't very good. Like I thought the Zoolander, the original, was incredible. The second one, I just didn't think it didn't quite measure up. So I'd be a little bit leery of that.
Bobby's hanging out in chat, says, watch yourself. My kid is watching. Well, tell the kids, speaking of Vince Vaughn, tell the kids to put on earmuffs when we talk about the how true Santa may or may not be. Okay, let's talk about Denver. Denver is taking on Toronto. They're in Toronto tonight. 228 is the total. 4-point line. The Denver Nuggets are favorites as far as who's in and who's out in this one. Denver fully healthy. They're good to go. Toronto fully healthy. They're good to go. Chop, do we like anything in Denver, Toronto? Dennis Schroeder looks like he's getting some ownership just because the price is pretty good, but there's nothing about this matchup I love about Dennis Schroeder. He's fine, but do I like a chalky Dennis Schroeder is what we're kind of looking at?
Schroeder on DraftKings might be the only play. He's much cheaper on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel, and he's been solid. You know, he should be a good floor for you, although he hadn't been particularly great in the last couple of weeks, but you know, it is what it is. Jokic is priced up. He's definitely not a must play. Murray's actually not that expensive, but he's also hasn't performed very well since coming back from that injury. So I don't know about that one. On the flip side, I think Denver's probably just good enough on defense that, you know, Scotty Barnes might be a little too expensive for me. And so, yeah, I don't know, Dean. I guess Schroeder in DraftKings, some formats, and that's about it. Whoa.
Yeah, basically no ownership in this game. Joker is getting 5%. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty Barnes, 1%. Pascal, the triangle, 1%. Like, it's just nobody's playing these guys. Huge slate. You know, it's market price and then some. It's hard to pay them off. So I get why they're not getting any ownership. Kirkwood, what do you got as far as Denver, Toronto? Anything you want to add, or is this kind of a cross out for you?
No, I just want to apologize. You won't believe what just happened to me here. So I got like this stress ball. We did an early Christmas at my parents' house over the weekend, and like they gave me this stupid little gift just on like a stocking, and it's a stress ball. So I put it on my desk. So I had been squeezing it. The thing just popped and exploded everywhere. It looks like chalk. I have to think it is in the middle of it, but that's what I've been trying to clean up. But all right,
giving you more stress. Yeah, you more stress.
This is crazy. It's like that's the point of a stress ball that you're like
counterproductive.
Right? Yeah. This they need to go back to the drawing board. Whoever made this. Anyways, the homecoming, Jamal Murray.
Is he from Toronto or he's just Canadian? Like, I don't know what city is he from? Because
he's from Saskatoon.
Country.
He's from
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Yeah, that's where he's from.
If only we had somebody from Saskatoon. Oh, there we go.
That's Trey Lyles from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada.
You ever meet Trey Lyles in the grocery store? You ever bump into him?
No, but one of my good buddies went to preschool with him.
All right, are they Facebook friends or something?
What
happened in first grade? They think, I'm gonna go this way, and that was it. It was over.
I mean, I don't know. They were in preschool. I don't think you have life conversations at that point. But
grade
Jamal,
one.
Jamal Murray's from Kitchener, which is basically Toronto.
Okay, all right. It's you say grade one, right? Isn't that what they say in Canada? Grade one, grade 6, grade 10.
Yeah, but this was like pre-kindergarten. This is like when they were 4 years old. They went to like daycare together.
They got into a scuffle one day over like peanut butter and jelly, and they never spoke ever again. Okay, New York is taking on the Nets. Battle of New York. 232 is the total. Knicks are 1 point favorites here, so it's tight, kind of high, I suppose. 232.5, not monstrous. The association these days. We should get Hartenstein starting today, unless Tibbs starts like Taj Gibson, which I don't think he's going to do. But the absence of Mitch Rob, the absence of Jericho Sims, also Josh Hart is questionable. He's got a knee. If he doesn't go, we don't have an if-then setup for that. But I think that feel a little bit better about somebody like Quickly. Probably a slight bump to like DiVincenzo, but you're probably not on him anyway. The Brooklyn side, nothing really new here. No DSJ. That's Dennis Smith Jr. Lonnie Walker still out. Ben Simmons still out. Kirkwood, how much do we like Hartenstein as like a mid-tier center? Pretty good fantasy point minute player, and it looks like the path is clear for about 30 minutes or so against Brooklyn. And we know the absence of Mitch Rob, this New York team has gone from a team you don't want to pick on to a team you can pick on. They've been much more vulnerable defensively, so don't mind Claxton on the other side. Two of my favorite like mid-tier centers on the slate in this game. What say you?
I love Hartenstein. It's just that he's going to get the Tibbs minutes. It's because with Sims out, they just don't really have much of a choice. I mean, yeah, maybe Taj could come in and ruin that, but yeah, you can't do that. Tibbs is the only guy who might do that in the entire NBA at this point, but I don't think so. I think he's going to play 35 plus minutes, and I think he's a great play. So I love him. I love Julius Randle on all formats. I like Quickly just because he's a value play right now because we just don't have much value. But
5'2". He's got to score, but like I think he's much better. I don't want to say much better, but I guess a little bit safer if Hart is out. Do you like Quickly either way? I mean, I would assume you like him more if Hart's gone.
Yeah, correct. But I like him either way. I think he's fine.
By the way, your boy Bobby Gomes in chat, to part of your Tournament Takes Top podcast, he says Hartenstein thinks. I don't know if he's going to sign off on that, so you guys want to fight about that, but he's not a fan of the Hartenstein. So, I don't know. I mean, is he wrong?
Real life player, he's probably not the greatest, but
we don't care about real life.
Yeah. You give him 35 plus minutes, and he should be just fine.
We have Hartenstein at 27% ownership as well as Claxton 27% ownership. So yeah, as far as mid-tier centers, those are two of the more popular ones. Quickly already getting ownership. We'll get more if we see the absence of Josh Hart. He's currently questionable with that knee. Chop, jump in here. Your thoughts as far as New York and Brooklyn.
Lots of good plays in this game, Dean. Finally, we got a game with some good plays. Hartenstein definitely going to be in a lot of lineup. Julius Randle, I like quite a bit. Claxton, I can take some shots on in GPPs, Dean, because of that Jared Allen block upside thing I talked about earlier. Quickly, if he catches fire, he's good. Brunson, I didn't play that night. He went crazy, but didn't he go? Yeah, 84.5 DraftKings points one night. He's got some upside sometimes. I think it's all around. It's a solid game. It's roughly 117 to 116 projected score here. What's not to like about that? It's a game stack, believe it or not.
Probably, I don't want to say playoff atmosphere, but probably a fun crowd there in Brooklyn taking on New York. We should move on and talk about.
You got to go Bridges or Dinwiddie, but Mikal Bridges is the guy you want on Brooklyn.
Yeah, they're a similar price. You like Bridges a little bit more than Dinwiddie? I think they're both interesting. You got to lean. Is that lineup construction wise, or it's just you just prefer Bridges and that's that?
What do you mean? What?
Like basically, you're talking about Dinwiddie being a point guard, shooting guard, Bridges taking care of the small forward. Is that more of a lineup construction answer, or it's just you just like Bridges more than Dinwiddie, and that's it? That's
it's just this game. It's going to be a high. It's going to be. This is going to be. It's going to, like you said, it's going to have a little playoff type atmosphere in the Battle of New York around the holidays here. It's going to be a lot of like families out there watching this game and everything. I think Bridges and Dinwiddie are the two guys that can go off in this spot, but Bridges is my number one. That's all.
Steve wants to know Hartenstein or Carter Jr. I think it's Hartenstein. What do you think? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well. Lakers and the Bulls, another two. These teams met in the finals before, right? I feel like it's happened once or twice. At least once. Maybe I made that up too. I'm not really sure. 224 is the total. The Bulls certainly not going to be meeting anybody in the finals this year. They're 4-point dogs at home versus the Lake Show. There's rumors out there that Levine might go to the Lakers. I'm not sure if you guys heard that. Basically a salary dump. He's just a lot of money, and they're not really going to get any actual pieces back, but we'll see. We care about tonight and tonight only. Levine is out tonight. Alex Caruso expected to be available. Revenge game for Alex Caruso. He's going to be extra feisty out there. Torrey Craig, we know, is out. Patrick Williams is available. The Lakers, same deal as always. LeBron and Davis are questionable. I assume they play, but it's possible they don't. But more times than not, that is just nonsense. Kirkwood, Lakers, Bulls. Life comes at you fast as far as Kobe White. He's 8K on DK, but it's been fully justified because he's just been outrageous ever since Levine has been out. Will that continue? Is there still meat on the bone here? 8-3 on FanDuel as well. It's some sticker shock, but again, deserved. This is actually a price bump that's deserved because he's been no less than 41 DK in his last like 7 or 8 games. So I don't know if I'm going to get there tonight, but it's perfectly fine. Your thoughts?
Just look at his minutes. It's insane.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like 40, 39, 40 at 45 in Milwaukee. That must be OT, I'm sure. Yeah, he's been great. I've got no problem playing him. I think obviously there's bad game could happen, and that price tag is tough to swallow. But he's the guy right now on the team that's keeping him in games. I think the Lakers are going to win handily here. I would be fine with some Caruso. It's just what's the over under on him getting injured in game?
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, he's not. If there was a draft on who's the most likely player to go to the locker room, he's the 1-1. And I know people want to make their Anthony Davis jokes, but he's been like rock solid this year. Like he's played basically every single game but like 1, I believe. So he's had like an MVP caliber type season, like top 10 at least. He's been phenomenal for sure. But yeah, I can't play Caruso, and even like if he's actually playing, like what's the upside? What is his ceiling game? He gets 5 stocks, and he hits a couple threes. Okay, I don't see it. And I can't play him. Basically, he's a much better real life player. Chop, what do you got as far as the Lakers and the Bulls? Any priorities for you here? Ownership wise, we're seeing DeRozan get 16%. Again, this is the way, the nature of the slate. Andre Drummond, 14-minute projection. He's getting like 10% ownership because he just smashes when he's out there. He rebounds everything. But like that's not a comfortable roster for me. And Kobe White's still getting 10%, despite the fact he's been priced up. The Lakers, Davis and James, nothing, like 2 or 3%. It's just hard to pay them off. If one sits, though, the other one will be elevated. Stay tuned. What do you got, Chop?
Well, you mentioned Levine earlier, and my thought went to flashback, Dean. I had a high school assistant coach named Levine, John Levine. He was a former college player and almost made it in the pros. He had a couple of tryouts with the Houston Oilers back in the day, but he didn't quite make it. But shout out to John Levine. He gave himself the nickname the Alaskan Pipeline because of his unit size, and so he was.
You can't give yourself, for starters. You can't give yourself.
Dean, nobody was arguing with the boy. All right, let me.
Well,
I do like that he had Pipeline and Oilers, though. I like how he kind of.
Who else is going to give him that? You think Chop is going to step up and give him that nickname?
I mean, seriously.
As a general rule, you can't give yourself a nickname. Like somebody else has to anoint you. That's just how nicknames work.
Yeah. So that the Levine flashback, but DeMar DeRozan's playable. Kobe White's been awesome lately. Either one of those guys. Kobe White more GPP stuff. You could play DeMar in some.
Should I bet the house on the Lakers right now?
Tony telling us in chat, yeah, 80's from Chicago. I don't know what he's traditionally as far as playing in Chicago, if he gets up for those games or not. But I forgot. Yeah, I think that is his hometown. I was going to ask you. It's a 4-point line, right? You think the Lakers will smash them?
Yeah. I do.
Bulls have been playing better of late. If you care about such things,
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pull up. Is it 4? I heard you say it. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll bet the Lakers. You sounded pretty confident. I only have one bet today.
This is going to be my feel it in your plums. This is my feel it in my plums bet of the day.
Yeah.
Lakers roll -4.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Smash bet. I'm smashing it right now.
Anything DFS wise? Chop?
I just said it. The little Kobe White GPPs, DeRozan.
You distracted me with the Alaskan Pipeline.
That's for the cash. That's for the cash.
By the way, can we just say this? Houston Oilers, best the throwback Houston Oilers uniform, best uniform in football. Like, I don't know why the Titans just don't wear that every single game.
Man,
Just embrace it.
let me tell you something, Dean.
What's better than that uniform? It's the cleanest uniform.
First of all, Dean, we have to. Well, there needs to be boundaries on the throwback uniform. Why Tennessee shouldn't be allowed to wear it?
I agree with that.
And Houston Texans can't. And then Tennessee sued, and the Rice Owls wore that one time, and they're okay with it. But when the Houston Cougars wore it earlier this year, they got a cease and desist from Tennessee not to wear it anymore. So bizarre, man.
How does Tennessee have the right to cease and desist?
Why do they have the right to wear it in the first place here?
Yeah, they're lucky they get to wear it. Just don't say anything. Yeah,
the whole thing. Let's keep the powder blues in Houston, man. That's where they belong.
I didn't realize this was sparks. I didn't realize that the Rice Owls wore it earlier this season. Who knew?
Terrible.
Is Rice around Houston? I think it is, right?
Yeah, they're only about 10 minutes away, the campuses, but big, huge signing day in Houston today, Dean. We're just scooping up all the 3 and 4 stars, man.
Man, it's a whole conversation, college football, with like, it's, there's college football quarterbacks that are making more money than like Brock Purdy. It's so wild. It's just it's crazy how that. I mean, I think it's great. Like, give the players the money so much more than the greedy commissioners or whatever. I'll trickle down to the players. They actually earn it. But yeah, and like all the good players, Chop, are like sitting out because they don't want to hurt their draft stock. There's no risk versus reward as far as the bowl games, or a lot of them at least, except with the exception of like, I guess, the playoffs and stuff. But isn't it like hard to figure out like who's sitting out and who's not, because what's the upside? I'm in the transfer portal. Well, I'm not going to get hurt.
It's very difficult because yes, you have some most of them are in the transfer portal, so they're not going to be able to play. Few of them are in the portal and they're still allowed to play, so it's really confusing. And then it's a whole big deal, man. It's too much. Somebody was asking me about, oh, you're not going to play college football DFS on Saturday? There's 6 games. And I was like, dude, you have no idea what you're getting into, man. You think you know, but you don't know.
How is the reporting? Is it like, I remember back when I used to play college football DFS, like you'd find out by like the sideline reporter sometimes. Oh yeah, so-and-so was suspended like a minute into the game. It's like, well, thank you for not telling us this until. No,
yeah, it's the units. Go look at that conversation yesterday with Fear My Turtle on Twitter, and the reporter broke the news that these guys weren't playing 5 minutes after the game kicked off, and he said, you couldn't let us know that before the game. He goes, would it have made a difference? Well, yeah, it would have made a difference, you buffoon. So
I follow you for one thing.
There's no
giving it reports.
Yeah, man, it's weird. It's crazy. I don't particularly like it too much.
It's the new normal with college football, but we'll see. And Houston, did your Cougars get any real signings? Is that you're saying 3 and 4 stars?
Yeah, man. Listen, we're trending up after we fired our coach. We're trending up now. We got a coach in there who actually cares.
We got 3 more games. Crunch time coming in about 15 minutes or so. You got Will. TJ will be jumping from producer to on-air talent, but he'll be doing both. He's going to be multitasking. You got Roth coming on as well. I do want to mention there are, like I said, there's 3 games left. Wanted to get to the read, and now I am losing it. And the props and pick'em package. You can get access to RotoGrinders all new props and pick'em package at a special holiday discount driven by the RG Premium Projections. Our tools comb your favorite sports books, fantasy pick'em sites to find the best picks for the best odds. For a limited time, you can get 50% off your first monthly price. Just go ahead and click the link that's in the description currently. That's the props and pick'em package. Should mention the old squad rides as well too. Squad rides are like 15 and 8, I think, the unofficial counting. Basically every single day, somebody from RG will nominate somebody else from RG, pick something off their scores and odd selections. We all bet the same thing. There's a Discord channel for it. We have fun over there. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Discord, I think it's Squad Rides. We bet on today's pick is. You want to know what today's pick is? Should I tell the people what today's pick is, or just have them go? We're betting under on Trae Young points. And that was Grant wrote it up. I think under 30.5 is the bet. That's what we're all going to be rooting for. So hopefully he's relatively quiet tonight. And that's a good segue because Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks take on the Houston Rockets. Speaking of Houston, maybe the Houston Rockets should wear the Houston Oilers jerseys. That will be spectacular. Better than those clown uniforms they wore many years ago. 233.5 is the total. The Rockets are 3-point favorites here. Houston going way up in pace, taking on an Atlanta team that will be slowing down and facing a good defensive team in Houston. Don't know about Tari Eason. He's got a leg, so he's questionable. Amen Thompson's questionable with his illness, as is Jayshawn Tate. I guess they were hanging out together. They're both questionable. As far as Atlanta, Bogdanovich is questionable with an ankle. We know Jalen Johnson is still out. Yeah, let me ask you, Chop. You're a Rockets guy. How do we feel about Şengün? And how much does it matter if Eason's out? Because we've seen Şengün lose a few minutes of late because Eason's just played really well. They don't play alongside each other a ton. And just Houston in general playing up in pace. I like FBV because he plays 38 minutes, and 38 minutes versus Atlanta is pretty appealing.
Yeah. So there's a lot to get to here, Dean, in this game and in general. So Carolina guy was on here earlier, and he wanted to know about a single entry GPP, a guy on FanDuel I like. So definitely borderline single entry because that's close to cash, but GPP, I like Jalen Green in this matchup. I think there's a lot of things that are going to he needs to score points to be really a big fantasy asset, but he's super cheap on FanDuel. This is a game where he can score some points. Like they can turn him loose, especially if Tari Eason is out or Jayshawn Tate is out and these guys miss the game, then he'll be relied on even more. So, to answer his question, Jalen Green is very interesting in GPPs on FanDuel. All those things are fine. Jabari Smith is super cheap on both sides. So Jabari Smith's in the mix. Eason, if he plays, has been great lately. Fred VanVleet's been incredible. Clint Capella, a little revenge on his old team. Jalen Green, Trae Young, Şengün. I think these guys are all in play. I think this is one of the better games of the night as far as fantasy. Atlanta, it's a tough matchup and as far as the defense, but I think they've got the scoring to fight through it. I mean, it's a pretty big total they got. So I like the game in general, Dean. But then there was another question in chat I wanted you to address. Hoosiers Hank Banner says, "Is it true Dean tried to take top position on his first 69?" Is this true, Dean?
Wow. That's not bannable. That's not bannable right there.
I don't think that's a real.
He's just asking a question.
I don't have HR, anyone?
There's been a lot of questions in the chat. It's funny that's the first one you happen to point out and acknowledge.
I just answered a question right before that. That's not correct.
People are saying that Dean's self-proclaimed nickname is the Thumb too. I don't know.
A lot of people are saying that people are talking. By the way, Donovan Mitchell is out. He's not playing basketball tonight.
Oh, there we go.
A lot of Cleveland. A lot of Cleveland. Tari Eason is 6'1", also Chop. 6'1" for Tari Eason. Like, again, this guy used to be like 4K. Now you want 6'1"?
Well, would you rather him still be 4'1", Dean? I mean,
he should be like 4'7". I don't know. He shouldn't be 6'1".
This guy's been crushing lately. I mean, absolutely crushing.
Nobody goes down in price. Everybody just you can only go up or stay the same. Nobody goes down.
Hey, listen,
that's the rules.
Who goes down? Nobody bets unders.
You're arguing with me. You're arguing with the wrong guy. I'm all for you. I make it to where I can play any 8 players I want.
No, I don't want to do that. No, that's not what I'm asking for.
Okay, I do. So let's do that.
You always want. Well, there's pick'ems. You can play pick'ems. You can do that.
And I'm not allowed to play pick'ems in Texas, Dean. You just needle the hell out of me. Just needle. Now I'm gonna say it, man.
Yeah. So Cleveland, we're gonna circle back. If not, Crunch Time's gonna talk about it. We did have an if-then set up, but again, our if-then had 17 minutes for Porter, unless that's changed. Because the report was he's going to draw the start. Yeah, he's going to play more than 17 minutes if he starts. So that has to be changed. But they were given, let's see. Like, LeVert's going to be super popular. How much is LeVert? Is he like around 6K? 6'2" on DK, 6'3" on FanDuel. So it's not even like this great bargain. But, yeah, he's going to be.
Dude, you have to play all these guys. You just
yeah.
And you got to hold your nose.
How many did you cap it at? Or I guess did you need a second to kind of digest it, Kirkwood? Because LeVert is going to look good. Merrill's going to look good. Porter's going to look good. Strus is going to look good.
Strus, I love.
Niang is going to look playable, right? But you're not going to love it. Yeah, we'll wait and see. They're going to update it, but I think I want to play 3. I don't want to go beyond that.
I'll tell you what, Walker. I'll tell you, Walker Kessler is going to block a lot of shots tonight.
Is he going to start? You never know with him. Sometimes he starts, sometimes he doesn't. Utah is playing all sorts of goofy games. We are projecting him to start tonight, but Yurtseven was starting in front of him. Yurtseven not available tonight, but we've also seen, I think, Linux is started one of those nights. Is Cleveland one of the most blocked teams in the league? They're somewhere in the middle, but
it makes no difference. This is not the same. This is not a real team. This is a G League squad.
Isaac Okuro's family might be watching Kirkwood. They can take offense to that. You never know. Again, we'll have the crunch time clean that up, and they're probably going to be. They're working on it right now. They're going to give us a refresh as far as projections for Cleveland. But make no mistake, the Cavs are going to be. They're the value we're looking for better or worse. Kirkwood, what's your take as far as Atlanta and Houston? I don't know if you chimed in much here.
Shangoon. Rumor has it, some sharp people out there are betting the Trae Young under for points.
Oh,
just a little rumor.
Can confirm that rumor.
What?
I can confirm the rumor. Oh, it's Gary Bird revenge game too. I forgot about Garrison Matthews.
Oh
revenge.
My God.
Yeah. The Clint Commander, you guys mentioned his revenge game. A lot of revenge tonight. He's 7-1. Yeah, probably not on that. Yeah. Craig Porter is going to be the really, really popular. The people in chat are talking about him as well. But let's knock out Atlanta and Houston here, Kirkwood. What are your priorities? I like Freddie. Yeah, and Şengün.
I like Şengün. And
how much more you'd like him if Eason doesn't play? Like, you don't need Eason out, but I think it would be nice if Eason's out.
Can I just chime in real quick? Trae Young has failed to reach 20 more than 20 points in 5 of the 6 games against Dylan Brooks.
Oh, is that BVP? That's BVP.
BVP? No, dude, it's not BVP.
It's TVP. Trae versus player. I don't know. What is that? What's the gimmick here?
PVP.
It's not a gimmick.
PVP.
It's just a matchup. We call it a matchup.
I can't believe you guys don't know PVP.
PVP?
Yeah, player versus player.
Yeah. Dean.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I feel like I've seen like a basketball reference or something like that.
This is how I build lineups.
Is that how you build lineups? I don't believe that's true. I think you're making that up. Let's talk about the Clippers and the Mavs. 235.5 is the total. Mavericks are 2.5-point dogs here. This is a later game. Well, it's 8:30, and there's one game that's much later than everything else. What's going on?
I just ran with how many
Cavs? 5?
All right. It looks like the big 4 is what you're getting, Craig. You're getting Merrill. Man.
Merrill's a part of a big 4. He's not a big 4. You're saying Merrill's a big 4?
Tonight he's in the big 4. Welcome to the big 4.
He's not a big 4. You're insulting the term big 4. You're including Sam Merrill.
He's the self-proclaimed big 4. He is part of the self-proclaimed big 4.
What is his nickname? Clippers.
Sterile
we don't
Merrill?
know. Norman Powell is not feeling well. Paul George is not feeling well. Flu season, right? They're both questionable. Lively is out for Dallas on the inside. So Dwight Powell was somebody that I think it was usable earlier for Unfandle, where he's super cheap and power forward eligible, but he's certainly limited. We know Kyrie is out. We know Kleber's out. We know Josh Green is out. We know Luka smashes versus the Clippers. He smashes versus everybody, especially when Kyrie's not out there, but he is also super expensive. If George doesn't play, you're going to elevate Kawhi. You're going to elevate Harden, especially if Powell doesn't go as well. It's a bunch of if-then stuff, but what can you give me right now, Kirkwood, as far as Clippers and Mavs?
Luka has been catapulted into massive chalk now with this news of
I can afford him now with Cavs. Is that what's going on?
Yes. Wow. I'm not even. Yeah, I think so. I think what you should do here is I think you got to play LeVert.
Yeah, I think we are.
Sorry.
I think Wait, hold on. Is Sam Merrill in the big 4 and LeVert's not in the big 4? I just assumed he was in the big 4. He's not big 4 worthy.
Gorgeous. In my first big 4, he wasn't there, and that's when I just started saying that
your big 4 is
right.
That's incorrect.
Correct.
I think that's wrong.
You know, Karras' nickname.
No.
Levert the pervert.
Why? Only because of Ryan.
Official nickname. Check Wikipedia in 3 minutes.
Not an official nickname. That is not. Check it in 5 minutes. Give somebody a chance to update it. Yeah, I mean, why would that be his nickname?
Clearly, you haven't spent time in the locker room with him.
So
the big curve.
I'm seeing Baby Durant. Somebody called him Baby Durant. The 20th overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft earned the nickname Baby Durant during his time at the University of Michigan. Never heard that.
No. That's definitely self-given right there.
I remember Baby Jordan. Remember Baby Jordan? If you're old enough.
Harold Miner.
There you go. USC, Miami Heat. Didn't work out. Turned out he was not the next Jordan. We're getting derailed. We have crunch time coming in a few minutes. But, Chop, what do you got for me as far as this Dallas Clipper game?
Dean, I was going to come on here and say Derek Jones, good value on DK and Dwight Powell on FanDuel, but you don't need any of that anymore. I'd love the Luka with the runbacks of Kawhi and or Paul George and James Harden. Those are all great GPP plays because you got so much value. So yeah, I'd stick to the big guys in this game. See who's active here. Make sure Paul George isn't out tonight. But James Harden's been playing great. I know a lot of couch potatoes wrote him off. He's been playing phenomenal, man. Once he got it together here, he was totally out of shape in Philly. He wasn't going to play a minute in Philly, so he didn't bother to get in shape.
Clippers in general, by the way, they were catching a lot of flack, but they certainly look a lot better, since where they started.
So there is a lot of animosity between Luka and George and Leonard. So I throw in Harden, and that's the big four in this game, and I'd run a bunch of stacks with some variations of those guys because you got all that value with Cleveland now. So that's where I'm at. All the other stuff, I don't need all those other guys anymore from this game.
I just ran an optimal 6 Cavs on DK, 6 Cavs in the first lineup, 4 in the next one, but 6 is outrageous. There's no way I'm playing 6. There's no way I'm playing 5. Maybe I'll play 4. I don't know. I might play 4. Do we know here, Kirkwood? We're going to kind of figure it out. Let crunch time figure it out because 6 is just too many. Like you can't play. I don't think you can play 6.
I mean, I'm definitely playing the pervert.
Yeah, Max Drews.
No.
That doesn't
official
rhyme.
Nicknames, only official nicknames. Craig Porter. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, Sam Merrill, if he can't shoot, what's he gonna do?
He's not even like this great value. He's 18-point projection at 4.1K. So yeah, but he certainly can put 20 points in the bucket. Like he's like not that we'll get to the ball.
Porter, Strus, and the pervert.
Hauser, those guys. It's like if he can't score, go to bed. But he probably can score against Utah.
Jesus, Dean.
What?
I forgot I signed up for Yahoo. I got to deal with that now, and I don't even have the energy to do any of it, Dean. By the time
why is this my fault? You're yelling at me.
I screwed up, Dean. I apologize. I screwed up. I shouldn't have signed up for nothing today. This is ridiculous, Dean.
You got to have skin in the game, Chop.
This is out of control.
Come out here and give it.
I could have lived with just one site. I didn't have to go to multiple sites, Dean. No, I didn't have to do it. That's on me. But what do we got? We got one game left, Dean. All right. Before we get to that one game, got a question in chat for you, Dean. Have you seen the new show, The Bookie, on HBO Max? And are you a big fan of Sebastian Maniscalco, the comedian? I don't know if you know who that is.
I'm aware of him. I want it to be better. It's called Bookies or Bookies. It's
The Bookie. The Bookie.
No, it's Bookie.
The Bookie.
No, it's not.
You sure?
Sounds electric.
Oh yeah, just Bookie. Bookie.
You had me at Bookie. You had me at Bookie.
It's a kind of, it got some funny. It's a comedian in there that starts. It's kind of funny. It's got some funny parts, but it tries a little too hard on in some things.
It's a little too cartoonish for me. I want it to be better.
Yeah.
I want it to be more realistic. I want it to be like more raw and like I don't know, like be like more realistic, I guess. It's from Nick Bakay. Nick Bakay, who's like a famous poker guy, famous comedian, and also the guy that did the 2.5 Men. I can't think of the guy's name. Chuck Lorre is the guy's name.
They really got me when he was talking about the VIG, and they were talking about a money line, and then he kicked in some extra VIG on the money line. No, it doesn't work like that. But you guys are losing me now, man. You got to make it realistic, man.
It's fine. I just wanted it to be better. Yeah,
Like
it's
when
not
a poker
bad.
mo-
It's
poker movie
disappointing.
messes up a poker hand like that just plays out like it would never play out. That always bugs me.
Yeah, that'll tilt me as well. Like, is there not somebody you can hire like to just kind of like just point things out and say this is not how it would go, or like a baseball movie or even a sports movie, and like something goofy. All right, we don't have time to get in this because there's one more game, and we're probably just going to touch on it because crunch time's coming in momentarily. Boston and Sacramento, 236.5. That is the total. We have no Jason Tatum. We have no Al Horford. He's not allowed to play on back-to-backs. Sacramento now is a 3.5-point favorite. Malik Monk is also questionable. This game is 1.5 hours after the next latest game on the slate. It's 10 o'clock start. Monk has a foot, so he's questionable. We know Tatum's out. Horford's got a rest. So the Boston value will be there. And I shouldn't use the word value necessarily because they're priced up, but White should pay off his salary. Brown looks pretty good as well, too. We are projecting Lamar Stevens to start, which feels fragile. Queta had like his best game of the season last night. So I think there's a chance he gets some run. Maybe he starts. He probably doesn't, but it's possible. Maybe Hauser starts.
I think Hauser starts, but I wouldn't even be completely shocked if they went O'Shea Brissett, who they went to immediately when Tatum first rolled his ankle. He came in, he played great, and then they never put him back in. But I don't understand why they didn't.
Yeah, they got to pick somebody. They picked Stevens, and Stevens did start similar circumstance about a week ago or so. Remember, we were anticipating Queta to draw a start, and it didn't happen. But that was, I think, Porzingis is out that game too, for what it's worth.
He didn't even touch the floor last night.
Last night? Yeah, I don't think so. What do you have as far as tonight before crunch time comes in? They're probably knocking on the door momentarily. We have, Lamar Stevens, even like a 15-point projection is not something I get excited about. And again, there's some fragility to that as well. But Brown is priced up, but he'll have a ton of usage for sure. Your Celtics, and then feel free to knock out the Kings as well, Kirkwood.
I mean, it's Brown, number one. You could play the bounce back for Sam Hauser, who was absolutely horrible. I don't understand what they give him a leash, but like he should have no leash. If he misses his first like 3 threes, he should be yanked because he's horrible on defense. He's not very athletic. But I think he's got a good chance to correct a lot of bad play from last night in this spot against the Kings. I think Jalen's going to go berserk. Derek White. Then I think you could play Holiday too as well. But my two favorites are White and Brown. I think Hauser's in play. And man, I think that I hope O'Shea Brissett gets minutes, but I have no confidence in that. Oh my god.
You're muted,
I just
Dean.
talked for I thought it was me. I was like, I just talked for like a minute, and
I was just saying that it's hard to take those ambitious swings as far as who's going to start in this game because there's no pivots. This is the only game. It's an island game. It's all by itself. And I don't like Lamar Stevens as is, and I wouldn't trust playing him because there's a
Lamar
chance
Stevens
he plays.
Lamar Stevens is a defender only. Like that's all he.
I'm
is.
just saying that seems like a bad play because he might not. Well, A, he's not good. B, he might not start.
You know where he played college ball? Do you know where he went to college?
Marquette.
Penn State.
No. No clue. I don't watch college basketball.
I think it was Penn State.
Well, now you came in with such confidence, and now you don't even know. You're backtracking? Chop those.
Sure.
I don't know where Lamar Stevens came, but Penn State would make sense considering his nickname, which I'm not gonna say on air.
What rhymes with Lamar?
Yeah, he went to Penn State.
Roth, we got to take this away before they give anybody any new nicknames.
Yeah.
Roth, did you hear Karis LeVert's nickname?
I thought that LeVert the pervert was pretty bad until I heard baby Kawhi. What was it? Baby KD? That was even worse.
Durant.
Baby Durant. That's even worse than LeVert the pervert. These are terrible nicknames. Horrible.
Welcome to the show. Chop, you want to give like 10, 20 seconds or so as far as Boston and Sacramento?
Nah. He nailed it. He's the Boston guy. He nailed it all. He got it all.
All right. Any more nicknames for the row before we hand it off to crunch time?
No, I don't have any more
Thank
to say. No?
Kevin Reach Around Roth? Is that what's coming up
Yeah,
next?
Ooh,
that is
very
my
nice.
nickname. That's yeah, you nailed it.
Official nickname?
I'm a kind and thoughtful person.
Wow. Like, when was the next RG party?
We're all getting fired.
Executive. I took them all off.
Yeah,
I cut them all off.
It's a good move. Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Crunch Time. This show, sponsored by FanDuel. Any shenanigans prior to this moment, not affiliated with FanDuel, not sponsored by FanDuel. Now we are officially sponsored by FanDuel. Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. TJ with the good move, just clean cutting them off. What's up, TJ?
The benefit of producing while being an analyst at the same time. But no, those guys are fantastic. But since we were already coming in a little bit late, I didn't want YouTube or FanDuel to get mad at us, especially on one of my limited producing days. So we just figured let's bounce out of this and dive into crunch time.
I like it. Keep it clean. It's a show for the kids. Sometimes I'm drinking. It's not for the kids, but it is today. We got Chief in the house as well. What up, Chief?
What's up, brethren? I am glad to be here. I don't know what was going on earlier. I could not get into the studio for some reason. It just had me log jam. So that's why I was not on screen for all the shenanigans. Sounds like I missed out on a good time, aka a very bad time that almost got us fired from the airwaves. Yeah. So well, I will continue to have an opportunity to come on because I didn't participate in all of that R-rated activity.
That's fair. And for what it's worth, Dean just kept talking, so you didn't actually miss anything because they went like 10 minutes late. So you were right on time, as it turns out. Dean, I'm messing with you. I love you. Let's dive into this. We are coming in just a couple minutes late on kind of a bigger slate. So let's discuss. TJ, are you going to be walking through the cash plays, or Chief, you want to handle that?
I can do some cash game for us, unless Chief is feeling it, but I feel like he's probably feeling tournaments.
Oh man, it's tournament time in my household, so absolutely, cash games. TJ, take it away. I'm assuming every Cleveland Cavalier is in the optimal. If you were in the prop shop before this, as I'm taking over the conversation here, Roth, I was literally just firing away props for the Cleveland Cavaliers on DraftKings Pick 6 before this show. So TJ, I'm assuming it's all the Cavs, but I could absolutely be wrong.
No, my friend, you could not be more right. That's the important thing we want to make sure we're hitting today in cash games is every Cav player imaginable.
TJ, real quick, is this a situation where I know we were kind of starved for value prior to this? Is everything that you've done basically up to this point or up to that Cavs news thrown out the window and you're just rebuilding entirely with Cavs now?
Nope. I am just sitting here happy, chilling with my lineup set. My 20 lineups already in there and my cash lineup already set because I was not expecting Donovan Mitchell to play. And so I already had 95% Craig Porter, 75% Karis LeVert, 65% Sam Merrill, 35% Strus, 30% Okoro, 30% Jared Allen. I already had that locked and loaded. So that's just ready to rock.
Okay, well, let's go through a FanDuel cash build. Tell me, what the core is, what you need, and then some other plays at each position.
All right, let's do it. So with Donovan Mitchell out, Evan Mobley out, Darius Garland out, obviously the most important set of players here are the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, we also have value in Boston because Jason Tatum is out for this one. Al Horford is resting. I think that's basically it for what we're waiting for. Like that Donovan Mitchell news was the big one. Not it, but like the most important. Davis and LeBron have their Q tags, but they always have their Q tags. I'm expecting both of them to play. The other big one is Paul George is listed as questionable. He did not participate in shoot around today. I'm expecting him to be out. That's how I'm playing things. So it does make it so that I really like James Harden and Kawhi Leonard today. In terms of core plays for cash, we got Jaylen Brown, who I agree with 100%. No Jason Tatum today. Drew Holiday, I'm good with that one too. Karis LeVert, no, probably going to want to put him at the small forward position. With no Donovan Mitchell, no Darius Garland, no Evan Mobley, and then, of course, Craig Porter Jr. as well, who is starting, projecting for 70% ownership today. At the point guard position, we already got 2 guys locked in. We don't have to worry about anything else. We got Jrue Holiday and we got Craig Porter here. Now, if you don't want to play Jrue Holiday, if you find yourself with a lineup you like better that has Luka Doncic, Derek White, Fred VanVleet, totally okay with those, but I think those are the other 4 options. Craig Porter is a must. You have to play Craig Porter. And I'm actually going to take out Jrue Holiday here just because your other option is Doncic, White, VanVleet, or Holiday. Holiday is probably the best bang for your buck dollar value, but VanVleet is, I think, probably my favorite play of that group if you can make it work. Shooting guard position, we got Jaylen Brown in one of these. I think Max Strus is a core play for me today in cash games. $5,900 on FanDuel. That is just too cheap for him. You got Strus, Brown, and Karis LeVert, 3 players that all are shooting guard and small forward eligible that I think are must plays today in cash. Somebody like I love James Harden for tournaments today. I like Isaac Okoro as a tournament play today, but not in cash. It's Strus, Brown, LeVert. You're playing those guys here. Small forward position, more of the same. You have Brown, you have Strus, you have LeVert. On FanDuel, Brandon Miller is all right. He's still below 6K, $5,800. Great projection against Indiana. Indiana is the best possible matchup in basketball. And then I would like it more if Paul George is out. But if you need to spend up here, Kawhi Leonard is somebody that I really like getting to. Again, if not in cash, then in tournaments. And I actually don't think there's anything wrong with going all the way down to somebody like Tim Hardaway Jr. either. He's going to come off the bench. But the Clippers, if we're expecting them to be without George, they won't be quite as strong off defensively. And he has a really nice price tag over on FanDuel. Power forward position, Jared Allen, I think, is probably somewhere one that we're putting in here, keeping in mind that we can only play 4 Cleveland Cavaliers on FanDuel. That's the maximum. In cash, make sure you have 4. That's a must today. You're playing 4 Cavaliers in your cash game lineup. I do really, really love Kawhi Leonard as an alternate spend up here. Another one you can use. That's probably what I would do, is stay in the mid-range route for the rest of my position so I can use the Kawhis, the Hardens, as opposed to going all the way up to a Luka or an Embiid and then having to save salary at the rest of my positions. But that is totally fine as well. A couple other power forwards you could potentially go to. Dwight Powell all the way at 3,800 at the bottom. He's going to play 20-plus minutes, and he is super, super cheap. It's fine if you need it. I like Cameron Johnson as a play as well, below 6K. He's nice and cheap. But Randall's fine. Porzingis is fine. Hartenstein is fine. But Kawhi is actually my favorite secondary piece here with Jared Allen. Finally, the center position. You can play Jared Allen here if you need. If you want to get up to Embiid, that's cool. If you're choosing between one of Embiid or Jokic, I would pick Embiid, but they're stupidly expensive. I love Şengün today. That's like the mid-range route I was talking about with the Kawhis, the Hardens, and the Şengün is then probably who I would go with at the center position. Tari Eason is questionable. If he's out, I think Şengün is undoubtedly the top center play on the slate. Even if he's in, though, I still really like Şengün against an Atlanta team that, although they play fast, they run a center out there for basically 48 minutes. And so he should see nice minutes today. We shouldn't have to worry too much. Again, if Eason's in, I do think we got to worry about them going small a little bit. But if he's out, I think by far Şengün is the top center play on the slate.
Very nice. That was a well-executed rundown. I feel like I am very informed from that. So good job, TJ.
Apparently, I mean, I would love to be able to do this every single day, but sometimes that's just not the possibility. But when I'm being Steve today, in addition to TJ, not only am I doing my regular research, but I'm tuning into all the shows. I watched Chief and Stevie on the morning grind this morning. I was here for RotoGrinders today, first thing in the morning. So I've seen a lot of Chief already, but I also just feel like really locked into the slate.
Very good. Okay, I love it. Well, Chief, let's talk about some tournament pivots here because the build seems kind of straightforward in cash now with that Cleveland value. So I'm curious what you're doing there, if you're going 4 Cleveland guys in GPPs or if you're trying to get under the field a little, or maybe just picking different Cleveland guys.
Yeah, well, let me say this because I know a lot of people, they may not notice. I actually write content a lot of days or most days for NBA at RotoBaller as well. So it's an article. It's called The Best of Both Worlds. And so it has GPP targets and prop targets to pair with those for those of you that are into that sort of thing. So I'm actually pretty in tune with the slate as well, TJ. And
Okay,
so,
I was like, what is this? Just random cross promotion BS? No, don't you be talking about Roto Baller on our RotoGrinders show? But okay, that's fair. You're saying you're in tune. You're dialed in.
yeah. I'm
I'll
dialed in. And so what happens is, for me today, I was already going to be playing Jared Allen in tournaments just because I just thought he was a really good value against the Utah team that it was already struggling. And then we got all this Cleveland news with Mitchell out. And so I think here's my approach for tournaments. I don't think you need to ignore Cleveland because, believe it or not, Max Strus is going to be a good tournament play. Isaac Okoro he's probably going to end up being a really good tournament play. Karis LeVert is going to end up being a good tournament play. And then Jared Allen, obviously he's going to vault into being a good tournament play. So I don't think we have to ignore these guys. Now what I think we do is this unlocks all these studs that we were struggling to play all day. So for me, Tyrese Halliburton's a stud I want to play because he's got to match it with the Hornets, folks. I'm not sure if you know this. I live in the Carolinas. I love the Charlotte Hornets. They're awful. Tyrese Halliburton is going to have a field day tonight with this team. He's 10-9 on DraftKings. And guess what? The ownership still isn't crazy on him because of this. But, man, I think this is a spot for the ages. He's been struggling a little bit as well, Roth. No better get-right spot in the NBA. They just get a matchup with the Charlotte Hornets. He'll put you right back on track. So
especially with he wants to push it. They want to push it. It's just it's going to be a track race. It's going to be great for him.
Yeah, so I love this spot. Inversely, I think if you can find a way to build around Cleveland tonight in tournaments, take the cheap pieces from Cleveland and then say, okay, what are the games that I like? I like Charlotte, Indiana. Can I get Rozier and Halliburton? Can I make it work? And look, we 20 minutes out, 26 minutes out from lock. We've got plenty of time to make this work. And just kind of rotate guys and take Halliburton, take Rozier, take Halliburton, take Gordon Hayward, take Halliburton. I know that sounds crazy, but these are the games we want exposure to, or we want exposure to, but we're going to have trouble. So I want to play that game. Guess who else I want to play today? I want to play Joel Embiid. He just continues to destroy everybody. He goes out there and plays 25 minutes, puts up 70 fantasy points. I'm exaggerating, but my point is he's barely played 4 quarters in the past 5 games or something stupid.
And crushing.
And it's just 65, 70, no doubt about it. So I want to play Joel Embiid. Let's get him in the mix. I like Anthony Edwards tonight at 9K. Well, let's get him in the mix. It's all tournaments, of course. The other thing, too, Roth, when we have these games where, and I'm going to try to put a bow on this very quickly, when we have these games where a lot of guys are out for one side, we ignore the other side of the game. We're going to load up on Cleveland, and essentially what happens is this makes Utah more competitive. So give me Sexton. Give me Lauri Markkanen at 8,300. He's coming back from injury. Don't get me wrong. He's probably – I think he played about 30 minutes the last game. I'm willing to roll the dice on an 8,300 Lauri Markkanen on DraftKings. Give me Walker Kessler. These are the types of things I want to do. I don't mind playing Jokic today, which is an obvious play. But the Knicks, Julius Randle's been playing really well. We're going to ignore Julius Randle tonight. Give me him. So those are the types of things I want to do. And I think the elephant in the room here is, or not the elephant in the room, but how much is Boston going to get ignored now because of the Cleveland news? I'm really interested to see that because Holiday, White, Brown, even Kristaps, I'm willing to play them. And then on the other side of that game, Domantas Sabonis should destroy this team. Kristaps Porzingis, don't get me wrong, he's going to stretch the floor. But Domantas Sabonis, he might have 20 rebounds in this game. Horford's out, Tatum's out. Those are 2 of their top rebounders. Porzingis is only probably averaging about 6 to 7 rebounds a game. So Sabonis should have a field day. Love De'Aaron Fox, even though he's got Drew Holiday. I think Drew Holiday's going to take a backseat on the defensive end tonight because they will need his scoring output.
I love it. Good stuff, Chief. Good stuff. All right, gentlemen, it is time to kind of kick it over to DK. Before we do, we should note this show sponsored by FanDuel. Make sure you're checking out their sportsbook. You bet $5 on any money line, get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. For new users in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 up. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Shout out to our sponsor, FanDuel. I saw someone mention we have just a pathetic number of likes. Hopefully that's changed since you've heard these two give their spiel, because we deserve all the likes, free content, and two of the literal sharpest minds in the biz. We're trying to keep the show free. We need our sponsors to get eyeballs, so hit that like button. Let's kick it over to DK. TJ, is there anything that different, or is it kind of a similar build here?
No, it's a whole lot of the same over on DraftKings today.
You get one more Cleveland guy if you want, I guess. That's one thing that's different.
Yeah, exactly. You can add more Cleveland if that's what you're wanting today, which you are. Like,
and do you hear Chief just max entering right now? Chief is just like, do you enter.
That was actually that might have been a combo of the two of us, because that was actually me adding. Because I'm screen sharing, I had to like reset the projections and add in players back to the player pool.
I thought Chief was just getting in every tournament. I thought Chief was just saying enter. Just putting all the chips in right then. All right, TJ, let's go through this build here on DK.
All right, so we got Craig Porter Jr., Karis LeVert, Jaylen Brown, all as core plays here today for cash games. Agree with all of those. Noto also has Jrue Holiday. I'm going to leave him out of there for now. So at this point guard position, you can pay all. You got Craig Porter here; he's a must. But you can also pay all the way up to Luka as a cash viable player. Fred VanVleet, also a cash viable player, and then Terry Rozier, I'd say, would be the third that is cash viable as well. So if you want to use them at the guard position, something like that, there's no issue with that whatsoever. Sam Merrill as a cheap option if you need it as well, I think is okay. Shooting guard. LeVert and Jaylen Brown both have shooting guard, small forward eligibility. You're playing those two at these spots for sure. But then you can also mix in Max Strus at 66, Jrue Holiday at 7K, or again, Rozier at 8-9. I do think that somebody like a James Harden would be viable if Paul George is out. And then even Emmanuel Quickly, I think, would be viable as well if we get Josh Hart ruled out.
TJ, do you like Holiday or White more?
For raw points, White; for point per dollar, Holiday.
Okay, all right, just checking.
You mean on DraftKings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, I'll talk about it.
You can talk about it now. It's all right.
Nobody's gonna play Derek White because of that price.
Okay. Well, so Derek White is a guy that I happened to write up today, or I wrote up all three of these guys outside of Brown. But here's the deal: when you look this stuff up on Court IQ, obviously, like Derek White, man, he's got a 33% or 31% usage rate on this team right now without Tatum, like, it's insane. And so if you don't look this stuff up, sometimes you're sitting here like, Derek, but nah, I can't pay this. No, you absolutely can. And I'm not saying don't play Jrue Holiday. That's not what this is about. This is about highlighting how much Derek White should have an impact on this game with Tatum and Horford out. Like, he's only behind Jaylen Brown. That's it. Yeah. That's it. I think Derek White's a big time play today.
Okay, good. I love it. Love to hear it. All right, TJ, sorry I kind of cut you off there, but keep rolling for me.
No, I agree. I love Derek White as a tournament play today, so I think that was spot on. Small forward, more of the same that we talked about. Karis LeVert and Jaylen Brown, you're getting them in for sure. Strus is viable, and then Kawhi Leonard is the other guy I like here. I think he's viable even with George in. If George is out, he is one of my favorite plays on the slate. Power forward position, Leonard here if you want. Julius Randle is fine. I personally like Leonard better regardless, but say you want to play Leonard and then you find out that, oh no, Paul George is going to be in. Well, that game is only an hour after the Knicks game, so it's possible you could get that news before that one, and then you could just pivot to Julius Randle instead. Not that many cheap options here in compared to the other positions. Like if you need to go all the way down, somebody like Niang or Okoro, I think they're fine. But for me personally, I want to go all the way up to one of those like mid 8K, 9K, or even all the way up to a Laker if you had no other options here, because there's just not that many strong, cheap options. For me personally, I'm going Kawhi Leonard. Center position, Nick Claxton is a really strong option here at 6.2K. Isaiah Hartenstein at 5.8. another totally fine cash game option. Those would probably be the two that I would be choosing between, unless we got word that like Queta happened to be starting for the Celtics or something like that. Otherwise, I think you're going to Hartenstein, Jared Allen, or Nick Claxton. Those are the only three guys I think you're considering in a cash game today on DraftKings. For tournaments, Miles Turner, I think, is great. Walker Kessler is one of my favorite tournament plays on the entire slate. 6,200 starting. We got confirmed that he's starting as a run back for this Cleveland team. I just absolutely love it. And that's everything.
Very good. Okay, Chief, I want your tournament takes, but first, you mentioned that you were in the prop shop prior to this, just putting in all these overs on these Cleveland guys. We should note that the props and pick'em package for RotoGrinders Scores and Odds is on a discount right now. You can get access to RotoGrinders all new props and pick'em package at a special holiday discount driven by our premium projections. Combs through, finds the best books, the best odds. And for a limited time, you can get 50% off your first month by clicking the link in the description below the video. So make sure you are taking advantage of that. I follow along in the RotoGrinders Slack channel where they're making these picks, just crushing, just absolutely crushing these picks. So make sure you're taking advantage of that if you haven't done it. 50% off. Chief, what are we doing here in a GPP?
So it's going to be mostly the same for me on DraftKings as well. But there's another guy that I want to add in here, and that's Jamal Murray. Like, I know he's not going to feel sexy tonight. Like, it's not because he's in this weird price range now between Cleveland and like the studs. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
But at 7,200, Jamal Murray could absolutely go ahead and drop a 50 piece.
Sure.
And I mean, hot wing special, and nobody would be surprised. They just wouldn't have him. So I love Jamal Murray here. His ownership is going to be very low. I feel like this matchup should be competitive with the Raptors. The Raptors are at home. Denver's on the road. So once again, Jamal Murray, I think, is a guy that we want to add into the mix. And then, I don't want you to think this is reaching, but we got to take a minute and talk about Kobe White. Like, I mean, he's 8K. Once again, Roth, he's definitely in the range between the Cleveland and the studs. But what he's doing right now without Zach LaVine playing is nothing short of incredible. I mean, and we kind of talked about it a little bit on the morning grind yesterday. Kobe White should probably be 9K. So we're technically still in the range of a discount here.
It's a discount. It's wild to think 8K for Kobe White is discount, but with the numbers he's putting up, it is.
Yeah, and I mean, look, and this is just for all the game log people, okay? So it's not just here's the thing, it's not just the fantasy points, it's the minutes. 39 minutes, 38 minutes, 39, 34, 45, obviously overtime, 39, 37, 40. Like, when we're going to get a point guard playing, he's basically Fred VanVleet from Toronto right now. If you want to give kind of a comparative analysis, think about how many minutes Fred VanVleet was playing in Toronto, and then think about these performances. And then if you look at the fantasy points, 49, 41, 55, 47, 50, 41, 39, 50. At this point, he should be 9K, and he's not. It's like Scotty Barnes from earlier this year, where he was just 7K, 8K for like 2 weeks, and he's kept putting up 50. I think Kobe White needs to be in your lineups tonight for tournaments, and he's going to get ignored because now we got Cleveland and we got studs at 11K that feel safer, and they are safer. Don't get me safe is such a bad word for tournaments. They feel more safe because they get more opportunities, but nobody's getting more opportunity in this team than Kobe White right now. And it's showing not just his shot attempts are up, rebounds are up, assists. I mean, he's on a baby triple-double watch every single slate right now. So I know I got a little excited about Kobe White, but I think Kobe White's a fantastic tournament play tonight.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right. What else do we got here?
That's it. Everything else, if you compare it to FanDuel, like I still like Anthony Edwards, I still like Embiid. Like everything else is going to be pretty similar. But Kobe White and Jamal Murray on DraftKings, man, I love them.
Okay, good stuff. Guys, we've got about 11 minutes here until lock. TJ, anything you want to add in before I start taking some QQs?
No, let's pretty slow on the news. Nothing new since we started breaking it down at the beginning. So let's get some questions.
Okay. Let's see. This is a fun question here. Chief, I'm going to give this to you. The winning GPP, and we'll call it for DK, will have how many Cavs on that team?
3.
Ooh, okay. FanDuel GPP question. TJ, I'm going to give this to you. We'll just kind of skip back and forth a little bit here. Thoughts on Rozier just balling, low owned, price tag super high, but versus the Pacers who don't play D?
It's great. Great play.
And Chief, I feel like that was one of the guys you mentioned, like a Halliburton Rozier pairing with that Cleveland value, right?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time.
Mm-hmm. We like it. All right. TJ, how does Butler being out affect Miami's value? Does anybody stick out in that department?
No, I am not playing a single Miami player. It's a slow-paced game, lots of defense. No need to go there on a 10-game slate.
Okay. FanDuel Cash, Chief, you want Brown, Capella? Yeah, FanDuel Cash. All right, TJ, it's you. Brown, Capella, or White Şengün? FanDuel Cash.
Ooh.
For cash, the answer is Brown Capella, but my goodness, do I like White Şengün way better for tournaments.
Okay.
I think White Şengün is close for cash, in my opinion. I think Şengün's a better play than Capella straight up. And White's, listen, you look at these, he's almost on equal footing with Jaylen Brown, and I can't stress it enough. I'll shut up. Let me get out of that question. Ross,
They're like it's the more volatile side, but they undoubtedly have a much higher upside.
Yeah. Okay. Great. We'll go to this FanDuel GPP question. Chief Quetta, and he in parentheses says, "Yes, Roth, that's a real player." I knew that one actually. Is he going to get decent run with Horford and Fournette out? 3-8 at center. Can that be my super scrub play of the night?
No, not on FanDuel. Cleveland value is going to kill you if you do that, in my opinion.
Okay. DK GPP, Hartenstein or Carter Jr.? And Chief, you can have this one. Hartenstein or Carter Jr.?
Give me Hartenstein.
Okay. FanDuel single entry. There's some debate about Jamal Murray's sexiness level going on. I think it's elevated, right? I think it's, an elevated on the sexy scale there. FanDuel single entry. I'm currently playing Brandon Miller and Miles Turner at 7 p.m. Should I leave the 2 spots empty and wait for news, small forward and center?
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay, great. FanDuel GPP. TJ, back to you here. Capella Drew or DeRozan and Nick Richards?
Capella Drew.
Okay. FanDuel cash question. TJ, right back to you. It's more cash. This is a 3v3. Van Vliet, Harden, parentheses, if George is out, and Capella, or Luka, Hauser, and Şengün?
What was the first one again?
It was assuming George is out. Van Vliet, Harden, Capella versus Luka, Hauser, Şengün.
Oof. Let's go Luka, Hauser, Şengün.
Very nice. Jumping into the YouTube chat, make sure you hit us with those thumbs ups. Anthony says, your thoughts on Dinwiddie and Zubac. I freaking love Zubac. Like, I love that guy. Not necessarily tonight. He's just good. Chief, Dinwiddie and Zubac, any interest in either?
I think Dinwiddie's just okay, and I think I talked about this on the morning grind. Just put all him. I wouldn't be playing Dinwiddie unless I'm playing all 3 of the Brooklyn guys. Just put them in a group and just say 0-1. Zubac, I don't really want to play Zubac tonight. I think they're better options.
Okay. Could be Travis says, shout out to Mississauga. He says, I'm from Ontario as well. How bad? Mississauga. All right. Thank you. Nice. Shout out to Mississauga. It sounds cold there. Is that near you, TJ?
No, it's a suburb of Toronto.
Oh, okay. That's not near you at all then.
No.
This is really not. Okay. Any concern over Jamal Murray's minutes? That's a good question. Are there any issues there minutes wise?
Borderline, but that's why I like it for GPPs, because they haven't said that he's going to play 27 minutes. They also haven't said that he's not going to play 35 minutes. Like just a few games ago, he played over 30 and he put up that was 30. No, he played 28 minutes against Atlanta, put up 51 fantasy points. Like I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. Okay. Brian says DK GPP Chief. Anybody playing Capella? You got any Capella?
I'm not as high on Capella tonight against Houston. I think this Houston defense is for real.
All right. K-Town's Finest says, what are your thoughts, TJ, on Levert on DK?
Yeah, play him for sure.
Yeah. King Dash says, can we go Jalen Green over Levert in FanDuel cash? TJ, we can't do that.
Nope.
No, we cannot. Cannot do that. Chief RPD is making you work for it. He's got $4,500 left in a DK tournament. Anyone but a center at $4,500 in a DK tournament. I imagine you might name some dudes he already has because he didn't tell me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're probably going to Cleveland. Maybe. Yeah, he's making me work. Come back. I think I got a guy, but I want to check something real quick.
Okay, TJ, I love this question from Anthony in the YouTube chat. Your best value play that is not a Cleveland Cavalier.
Sam Hauser.
Okay. TJ, one more for you here while Chief kind of finishes up. GPP, PJ, or Clackety Claxton?
Claxton.
Okay.
All right, and he said it was 4,300.
45.
45.
Yeah. Anybody but a center.
It's probably going to be, ironically, one of the lower end Cleveland guys. I'm thinking either Merrill or Niang, and they're low end. If you trust the Jazz to play Agbaji, like I don't hate that against Cleveland on the other side, and then that's probably because outside of that now you're getting to like really thin plays like Taj Gibson or something. We don't know what they're going to do in New York with that.
Nice. Okay. Shout out to Bill in the Discord. He says, thank you, fellas. I was playing in the blind. I've been busy for the past few days, but you guys stepped up and improved my lineup tonight. Good job. Thank you, Bill. We appreciate the shout outs like that. Thank you. You guys have improved some lineups tonight. We've got about 4 minutes until lock here. BK says, Chief, this is damn near the same question, so I'll give it right back to you. 4,400 DK GPP forward spot. I've already got Cavs, and I ain't playing Niang.
Maybe to play Queta from Boston. Okay. I don't like it, but you might have to play him.
All right. DK cash question, TJ, Strus or Levert if you can only afford one of those dudes?
Levert.
Okay. DK raw points, TJ, Rozier or Ant?
Rozier.
TJ, you want Gordon Hayward in a FanDuel GPP?
Yeah, I like me some Gordon Hayward.
Okay. DK single entry GPP, fade White. I feel like you're preaching to the wrong choir on that one. I am quite pro White.
Yeah.
Chief is pro White.
Yeah, we're not fading Derek White. I don't.
TJ,
think.
you could
or
be the
Kobe.
lone dissenter.
Like no, I mean both are fantastic tournament plays. That's a weird question to me because it almost implies that they're chalky, and both Kobe and Derek White are low-owned GPP plays. So, like, you can because most people are, but they're also great tournament plays if you want to play them.
I got you. Okay, great. I'm scrolling down just a little bit here in the YouTube. Why is Bogdan Bogdanovic 7-7 on FanDuel?
Because he was playing when a lot of guys were out, Roth, and he put up some nice performances. But now guys like DeAndre Hunter's back, so he's just overpriced.
Okay. Rukin Verde says, "Hey TJ, if Eason plays, I know that's your boy Eason. Can I have him and Şengün in the same large field GPP lineup?"
No. No, they very negatively correlate with each other.
Nice. Okay. TJ, last man, point guard, FanDuel cash, 8,400 or less from King Dash.
Definitely Fred VanVleet.
Okay. The confidence is wonderful.
That to me, he's the best cash play after Porter at that position.
Nice. Jackson Carr says, Chief, if Monk sits, can I go Herter over Hauser in a DK GPP?
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
I think that's an incredibly sharp late swap.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Nico says a very sharp man. When you get both of them to agree that strongly, that's good stuff right there, Jackson. Nico says, is building for a late swap too risky with respect to Queta? I can see a world where Celtics start Queta and Porzingis. I didn't fully understand that question, but maybe you guys did.
You can like I think they're asking like, can I leave Queta in my utility position? There's not that many people to swap to. Like you could go to like basically the other one who starts. Could it be if it's Lamar Stevens or O'Shea Brissett? We're currently projecting Stevens, but neither of them are great options. It's fine in a large field tournament. The scary thing is though, is just that like you could play Craig Porter or Sam Merrill for the same price or cheaper. You could play Andre Drummond for 100 cheaper. To me, I would only be okay with playing Queta in the utility position in tournaments if, I mean, if it's a large field and you're okay with the idea with the risk, that's fine. Then just do it. But to me, if I'm worried about that, I would only be okay with playing Queta if I had 4,800 remaining, and then I had the ability to pivot up to Peyton Pritchard if Queta is not starting.
Okay, well explained, guys. We are less than a minute until lock. I'm going to knock out some of these questions here from the Discord. DK Cash, TJ, Jaylen Brown, Kobe White, or Randall and DeRozan?
Randall and DeRozan, or who and White? Sorry,
it's Brown and White. And the answer
Brown and White. Brown and White. Yeah.
FanDuel Cash 2v2, Van Vliet and Jalen, or Luka Hauser? FanDuel Cash, TJ.
First one.
Yep. DK
Paul George is out, so I think Kawhi Leonard and James Harden are two of the best plays on the slate.
So Roth, can we discuss like the inner workings of builds right now? Do we have time for that?
Please.
So for me, with this Paul George news, right? Here's how I work the slate. I don't know now, especially with having access to Harden, Kobe White, all of these 8K guys. I don't know if I go past 10K here. Like when you got access to Cleveland, I think you take the 8K guys to Cleveland and you make it work. I think that's the way to go. Seriously.
I'm glad you said that. Like I was basically just about to swap Luka out and probably put Harden in and kind of go a little more balanced now. Like I had a Luka build and now I'm just like, I don't know. I don't want to play some scrub when I really don't have to anymore.
So Norman Powell is playing without Paul George. Chief, who do you like better, Powell or Hauser?
Gotta be Powell, man.
I think so too.
Powell might take 20 shots in this game. Like you don't think that? Powell might take 20 shots in this game.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay. Aside says with George out, is Harden now a must in your opinion? I don't think he's quite to that level. Is he, TJ?
No, he's been priced up, so he's not like a must play, but he is cash viable and fantastic for tournaments. And I see a lot of questions like Randall or Kawhi. It's Kawhi. It's Kawhi now for sure. I liked Kawhi slightly better despite projections disagreeing with me before that news. Now it is definitely Kawhi over Julius Randle.
Okay.
And I mean, honestly, that might give me a teeny bit more interest in Zubac, believe it or not. Just a touch.
Okay.
Just a touch.
I adore my cash lineup on DraftKings for what it's worth. Like it is, I absolutely love it.
Lineup. I know what your build is, and I want it as a tournament. I won't win it all, but damn.
The only play in it I don't feel like super great about it, but I still like it is Isaiah Hartenstein.
And that question just came up. Is Hartenstein still the chalk at center?
I don't think he's going to be super chalky, but he is a perfectly fine center play.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. I think with that, we're going to bounce on out of here. Hit us with a little thumbs up. This was a hell of a show. Hit these two guys with the thumbs up. So for TJ, for Chief, for our wonderful production crew, who actually is TJ right now as well. I would say working hard behind the scenes, but working hard on the scenes. Guys, we do appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.